In the previous video in this video list, I showed the Brunhild deck, the playlist. Somehow my words are all messed up this morning. For Brunhild, the New Dawn Rises, the new Valhalla cluster, the starter deck. And so I showed all the cards, and now I'm going to show the decks as the insert tells you how to build sample decks with them. And so it's got a sample deck that's based on Brunhild, and then a sample deck that's based on the Rabbit. Okay. Now the main deck, that is the 10 resonators, of which there are playsets, is identical for both. Okay, and I already showed them in the previous video. So that's your starter deck for resonators, and that's 40 of them. Okay, and it's you can build a deck between 40 and 60, and in this case they're just like, hey, do 40. All right, then the variation in the deck is in the runes. And so based on the list, there are 3 runes that are the recommended sample deck tells you put in each one. So they go in both. They go for the Rabbit deck and the Brunhild deck. Okay, and it's Mini Meteor, Brunhild's Wrath, and Bewilder. So Bewilder is a control card to target resonator, and then Mini Meteor rest all of them, so it's kind of like a go wide swing kind of card. And Brunhild's Wrath is a mini wrath, so it just takes out one resonator that just attacked you. And so altogether, this has a divinity of 12, which means that since you only have divinity 10, you're not going to be able to play one of these cards during your game. Okay, and so these are the 2 cards that are only for Brunhild, the 2 runes. This one's a 0 casting cost. It's pretty cool. And it's your reanimation spell. And then this one is destroy all resonators, so it's a Wrath for the Brunhild deck. That's really good after a Wrath of God in Magic. Okay, and then for your Rabbit, you get to play the same spells, these 3 that I just mentioned. But then now you have 2 that are unique to the recommended sample deck for the Rabbit. So you no longer are doing the reanimation for 0 or the Wrath. Now you're doing Eternal, which is really indestructible. That's one of your tricks. And then the other one has a this card cannot be countered, right? This is what it would say in Magic. Players cannot chase to this card. Remove target non-Magic Stone, non-J Ruler entity from the game. So that would be an addition, a resonator. Yeah. So those are the 2 that are unique to the Rabbit deck. And then you have 3 additional runes. And these, I'm really glad that they did this, because then you as a new player, always gonna feel like a new player in this game too, would decide whether these are strong enough that they can be used as runes instead of some of the runes that were recommended in the sample deck. Okay, so choose 1, destroy target addition or gain 1,000 life. That's very interesting because there aren't any additions in this deck, so you're not going to have any use for it in this deck. So this is more like, hey, after you buy New Dawn Rises packs and your buddies do the same, some of them are going to have additions, pesky additions, and this is where that rune would go. This one is something that you can put in, and it would work in the current deck or any deck, because it just returns a resonator to their hand, which is a unsummon effect. And then this is a flip effect, also useful in any deck where you got dinged for damage, not by a card that destroys the resonator, but a card that maybe like in battle you got hit with damage, and you flip that damage and you hit your opponent in the face with it. So that's pretty good. Okay, I went right through the stones. They're really beautiful. So there's I see here, what is it, 3, 6, there's 8 foils and 4 non-foils. So these 4 are not foil, and then these 8 are foils, and they're beautiful, of course, as always with Force of Will. Okay, so that's your deck, and those are the variations for the Brunhild deck. I already showed all the cards in the previous video. I'm not going to do much else here. I think I'm going to call it quits right here. This is the first pair of videos that I make. I think if I go fast enough for the other ones, I'm going to try to squeeze the entire procedure into a single video. Now that I know sort of how the sample decks work. One final note is about rarity. So everything in here is common until you get to your big critters. Okay, so all these are common, your 1 drops and 2 drops, and then your 3 drops are uncommons, and then your 4 drop, both of them, both 4 drops are secret rares. Just a note. All right, so I'm gonna leave it here, and so just to summarize, this is the Brunhild Rabbit starter deck.